Welcome to Triad All-Stars. Where are they now? Hosted by Ryan Smith.
Hello and welcome back to another episode here on Triad All-Stars. My name is Ryan Smith, and once again we are joined in our new series by Glenn High School coach or player as part of this new series that we are doing here. And today's guest is a 1992 graduate of Glenn. He played football. He played basketball. He was the general manager of the Cleveland Browns and is currently a senior personnel executive for the LA Rams. He is Ray Farmer. Ray, how are you?
I'm doing well, Ryan. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's so great to have you on. First, I'm just going to be honest. Talk about how you got down to North Carolina. You were born in White Plains, New York. How did you get down to the South? Talk about that first.
My parents tried to move down to the South in the 70s when I was really little. Didn't work out. We came to Winston-Salem. My parents liked it. We went back to New York, didn't move down for probably another 10 years, or I don't know how long it was. But we ended up coming down in the mid to late 80s. Ended up going to middle school at Atkins Middle School before I attended Glenn High School a few years later. So I don't know. My parents were bent on getting us out of New York, me and my brother, who also attended Glenn. But yeah, it was mom and dad deciding that it was time to get out of New York and head south. And I'd be remiss if I didn't say I played baseball as well at Glenn, which again, probably the most success we had athletically, or I had athletically, was with the baseball team winning the state championship in '92.
I was actually getting to that, but thank you for getting to that. Yes, state champion in baseball as well in 1992. You were also senior class president. You were a key club member, very involved at Glenn High School, where you played all those sports. I know it's been a little bit, but what do you miss most about Glenn and your time there? Looking back on that.
Clearly the people. I still stay in contact with Dale Imes, who was the baseball coach.
Yep.
I saw Dustin. I actually popped in. We were talking off camera. And I would tell you that Dustin, Dale Imes' son, works at Glenn now. And I don't know, it's been literally probably since the day I graduated that I had actually been back to Glenn when people were in the building. And I stopped in this fall just out of nowhere. And another good person, good man, great man, not even good man, great man. Marty Stanley was there. Mr. Kearns. My favorite teacher back in the day, I heard that she had passed away. Marlene Scales was an English teacher. I mean, there's people that did enough for me when I was a young man and didn't have the best of directions or the best plans for where I wanted to go in life that assisted me and helped me. And again, add in the friends of the Pablo Smiths, Brian Gentrys, Eddie Oates, the football players, to the baseball players of Jeff Thompson, Kirby Keene, Ryan Jacobs, Jimmy Bradford, God rest his soul, who passed away a year or so ago. I mean, it's all people. People matter.
Exactly. People do matter. Relationships matter. And that's the key in life, is just being kind to others and really passing that around. We'll go into the college now. You ended up going to Duke, where you were a 1996 graduate. You were all ACC 2 out of your 4 seasons there, played free safety from 1992 to 1996. As a senior, you led the team in tackles with 111 and played in 2 collegiate all-star games. But that's all well and good. But why Duke? Why did you decide to go there?
Well, the little-known history fact is I had a bunch of knee surgeries. And those knee surgeries combined with parents that were completely I don't even know what the right way to describe them. They were definitely pro-education, probably the easiest way to say it.
Yeah.
And so they enticed me. At one point, I thought I might go to NC State or Clemson or someplace else. But they enticed me to take the challenge on of Duke. And so I committed to them slightly early in the process. And probably one of the best decisions I ever made. But the decision was probably more my parents at the time than me. But I'm grateful that I did make the Duke decision.
Yeah, and after graduating, you played 3 seasons in the NFL. You were drafted in the 4th round by the Philadelphia Eagles. Played there from 1996 to 1998 before your career was unfortunately cut short by a knee injury. And then you kind of get into the coaching and scouting departments in the NFL, where you are now. So talk about transitioning from playing to now the coaching and scouting route in the NFL and where you've been.
Well, for me personally, it was it was challenging, right? I guess that most people would have said I was intelligent or educated, right? I went to Duke and graduated better than 3.0 GPA and all that foolishness. But the oddball part is that I thought I'd play 10 years. And, I'd overcome knee surgeries in the past and came back to play and perform. And after playing for a while, I got a knee injury, traveled to like 19 teams working out, never got a job, went to the Chiefs twice. That guy finally that trainer told my agent at the time that his knee shot. So I retire that offseason. Not quite that quick. So that offseason, the Carolina Panthers signed me of all teams. So I come back home. I'm living in Charlotte. I failed the physical before I go into camp, and I retired 2 weeks after that. And then the honesty of it is probably some dark days, again, before depression became a thing and people recognized it. I sat at home and grew a beard, which I have now, but I actually take care of it now. But I grew the scruffy beard like I'd been hiding away for a while, tried a bunch of odd-end jobs, did a little bit of everything and nothing at the same time before I landed back at Duke. And when I was at Duke, a guy by the name of Les Snead, who's currently the general manager of the LA Rams, he called me out of the blue, and he called me because my agent called him and said, hey, I got a guy, Ray Farmer, who would love to work in the front office. But I'd gone back to Duke. Les called me. I took the interview. I went down on a Thursday. He offered me the job on Friday. I worked in Atlanta then from 2000 until 2005 before I became a Kansas City Chief and became a director in the personnel world. And then the rest kind of takes off from there.
Yeah, that Kansas City gig, 2006 to 2012. And then you go into the Cleveland Browns as their assistant general manager in 2013. And then you hit the big chair 2014, 2015, the general manager for the Cleveland Browns, and then transition to the LA Rams, where you're at now, starting in 2020. And you're now went from a scouting consultant to, as we said, that senior personnel executive. So you've had a lot of different roles in the NFL, and such a great story there, and how you kind of got involved. Cool nugget there about Les Snead as well, a name a lot of our listeners will recognize, but not many probably knew he was out at Duke back in the day. You don't have to answer this question, but if eventually, obviously down the road, do you want to eventually come back to North Carolina? How long do you want to stay in the NFL? Do you have like an end goal at this point, or are you just really enjoying your job out in LA and kind of what you're doing there?
I have the greatest job on the planet. I actually don't even live in LA. I live in Atlanta, Georgia. And so
that's even better.
Cost of living is awesome. I get direct flight to LA when I need to go. I got two great kids that, one was in college, decided to take a different route. The other one probably is going to end up at somewhere between Clemson, Tennessee, Auburn, and Florida. So my daughter is the youngest. So not sure what her decision will be this spring, but she'll decide. I don't know. I have a great gig that, I work from home. I have a great setup. I have a great wife and family that understands. My parents live here in Atlanta. My brother lives here in Atlanta. So me coming back to North Carolina right now, probably not in the cards. If I had to say 5 years, 10 years, and I may do this, I don't know how long, right? My missing time. So when I got fired in Cleveland at the end of the 2015 season, January 2016 until 2017, well, I sat out for almost a year, and then Les called me again. I got back in with the Rams and was a consultant because I really didn't want to go back to work. Went full-time probably a year or two ago now, probably 2 years ago now. Did that in like 2019, 2020. Did the full-time gig. I mean, I have no reason to do anything but what I'm doing. I mean, I enjoy it. Les is probably one of my best friends in the world. We've been having success this year, kind of struggled with some injuries, but it's fun. I got a great job. I got a great life. I got a great situation. As far as getting back to North Carolina, my wife is from Durham, so I kind of passed through a lot, but I don't know if I'll ever move back full-time.
Got it. And I know you're not a big social media guy, but where can our listeners find you, or you can say the Rams, and updates on, in the personnel department? Where can our listeners find you on social media, or even the Rams information?
The only way you can find me, if you actually know me, is if you know some of the people that I named earlier.
Sure.
That have my number, or LinkedIn is probably the best way to get in contact with me. Everything else, if you see my face or my name out there, it's not me. I actually have teenage kids, so I do have Instagram and all that other foolishness to kind of track them and follow them. But yeah, I'm a social media ghost.
Well said. Well, Ray, this has been awesome. My last question for you, and you can kind of take this anywhere you want. Might be a curveball for you. If you had to say one thing that most people, we'll just call it the average NFL fan, what they don't know about the NFL as far as the jobs that in the scouting department, the football side of things, or even non-football side of things, what would you say that they would find interesting? What's one thing that most people don't know?
It's a good question. What would I say most people would like to know but don't know?
Yeah.
It's a lot more work than what people think, right? Give you an example. You watch a kid, guy I'm watching right now is Josh Proctor, safety from Ohio State. So his information's up on my screens that you can't see behind me. And, for every game you watch of that kid, if you watch that game in totality, you never push rewind, you just watch his defensive plays, it's probably a 25, 30-minute tape. So you rewind the play, you watch it again, you watch the multiple angles. You watch 5, 6, 7, 8 games of a kid. You're now logged in for 4.5 hours, 5 hours per player. And you end up doing about 20 plus players a week. If you work in pro, you can do up to 50. So let the time kind of let you understand how much work you actually goes into it. And it's not sitting watching football with your buddies and drinking beer and having fun. It truly is a job. And over time, you learn more, you get more efficient. It's interesting, it's fun, and I'm not complaining by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, for God's sake, I get paid to watch football, but it is it still is a job, and it requires an immense amount of detail and attention to that, so that you can try to make the best decisions possible.
I think that's a great answer for our listeners. I think they will enjoy that. Well, as I said at the top, my guest today has been Ray Farmer, a 1992 graduate of Glenn. He played football, he played basketball, he played baseball, and then was the general manager of the Cleveland Browns, and is now a senior personnel executive for the LA Rams. This has been part of our series on Glenn coaches and players here on Triad All-Stars. Ray, thank you so much for the time today. Continue to enjoy that job and all you do for the Rams, and we look forward to having you back here later. But thank you for coming on here on Triad All-Stars.
Thank you, Ron. I appreciate it. And Bobcat Country, let's go.
Welcome to Triad All-Stars. Where are they now? Hosted by Ryan Smith.
Hello and welcome back to another episode here on Triad All-Stars. This is our next episode featuring a former Glenn Athletics coach or athlete. Today it is a current baseball player at Davidson University. He is Michael Carico. Michael, how are you?
Doing well, Ryan. How are you?
I'm doing well, sir. It's so good to have you on. Let's start just growing up in Kernsville, North Carolina, youngest of 4 siblings. Talk about just growing up and how sports came into your life.
Yeah, absolutely. So my dad, he was really big into sports growing up, so he pushed that on me really early. As you know, Kernsville is pretty small town, so I played a little bit at the Kernsville Little League, playing baseball growing up. Played a little bit in the YMCA in Kernsville, a little bit for basketball, but I didn't like that as much as baseball.
Yeah.
And from there on, I think I kind of just took baseball in my own hands and really started enjoying that.
Yeah. And so how long did you play basketball or other sports that were not baseball before you switched over specifically to baseball? How long was that?
The last time I played YMCA was 8th grade.
Okay. So it's been a little bit of time. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Very good. And so then you fast forward a little bit, you get to Glenn High School, and then tell us about your time at Glenn and just kind of an open-ended question, your experience there, teammates, coaches that you really were fond of, and just kind of your overall time and legacy at Glenn, your thoughts on your 4 years there.
Yeah, so I definitely love Glenn. It's got a special place in my heart, especially the baseball program there at Glenn, with Coach Walker and Coach Imes, as well as the other coaches that volunteered their time as well. I think those guys really helped shape me to the man that I am today. And I really, really enjoyed just playing all 4 years there. I don't think I could have imagined myself at a better place, as well as the teammates that I had there, especially the ones in my class of 2020. The other six of us, those guys, they know how much they mean to me. So we still, to this day, keep in touch, all six of us. So, I think those guys also, they understand how special they mean to me. And I think it's Glenn. I could not have asked for a better place to go to high school other than Glenn.
Yeah, absolutely. And after graduating from Glenn, class of 2020, there was COVID in there, but with this conversation, we'll not talk about COVID. You go and pick Davidson College. Fun fact for those on the podcast who may not know, and I know this is going to be news to you as well, I am actually a UNC Charlotte grad. So Davidson is one of our arch rivals, but we'll put that aside for this podcast. Why did you choose Davidson, and just what stuck out to you when making that decision?
Yeah, so out of high school, I wasn't very heavily recruited, so I didn't have too many decisions or offers out of high school to play baseball in college. So I think Davidson, out of the few offers that I had, just the coaches and the culture that they have at Davidson, being a Wildcat, I think just from the few times that I was on campus on my visits, I think I understood that, and that was really what I was looking for in a college. Not only that, but just the academics at Davidson is, when you get a Davidson degree, it means something in the world. So I think just the combination of that really was the key factor that stood out for me.
Yeah, I mean, and you could argue Davidson's most famous alum is Steph Curry of the Golden State Warriors. So I think a lot of people know who that guy is as well. So
yes, sir.
You can say you go to the same college as him. So that's pretty cool. And then currently you're a junior on the baseball team, defending Atlantic 10 Player of the Year, Buster Posey Award finalist for the nation's best catcher. Talk about last season. We'll get into a quick 2023 preview in a second, but team went 43-13 last year. What did you learn from your sophomore season and freshman season? We can add that too. And then going into this coming up season, what are you looking forward to?
Yeah, I think I just learned how to be myself, honestly. I think my freshman year, I put a lot of expectation on myself. It was really hard on myself. I had a torn labrum at the time too, that ended up getting fixed after my freshman year. So I think just all of the pressure kind of surmounted and really, it stood on me very, very hard. And I think just being able to, hit the pause button after freshman year, and really just work hard and understand that what I'm doing is going to work in the long run. I think for me, that was really hard to do. And I think for other freshmen as well, playing sports in college, that can be really hard, especially when you're coming into a role where you're going to play pretty close to every day, or at least, be a key role or a role player on your team. So I think just, understanding, that I believe in myself, the hard work that I've put in is going to get me to where I want to be. I think it's really what helped me, make my jump to what I did last year.
Sure. And talk about the 2023 season's fast approaching. Obviously, we're in January, but the season is just around the corner. Talk about the team this year. What does Davidson Baseball look like? And what are some of your goals team-wise and individually this year?
Absolutely. So the team, obviously, we were 43-13, I believe you said last year. So yeah. we were very good last year. We lost a couple of really, really key pitchers in Blake Healy and Nolan DeVos last year. So those guys are obviously going to be tough spots to fill. But I really trust the guys. I believe in what we're doing. We've got so many guys that can come up and do the best to fill those spots. I think, as well as the lineup as well. We lost 3 seniors last year, in Trevor Candelaria, Parker Nolan, and then John Hosmer. So, as well as Matt Gravely. There's a ton of other guys I haven't even mentioned, but just those guys that we lost. Those are going to be tough holes to fill, especially leadership roles. And so I think just, the guys that have come up, including myself, to step into those leadership roles is really what's going to, help us, make or break this year. So I definitely have confidence in what we can do. And I think we're going to have a great season.
Yeah, and we'll certainly be watching closely. As we wind down here, talk about whether it's your current teammates at Davidson or maybe your past high school teammates at Glenn. What would you say that your teammates how would they describe you? What kind of player is Michael Carico?
Yeah, I think the first thing that they would say, they wouldn't talk about any of my athletic accomplishments or anything like that. I think they talk about the person that I am, and I think that's truly what I enjoy the most about my character. I feel like they would say I'm very humble and respectful, and I show love in many ways. So I think for me, that's how I want to be remembered is, by the way I treat people, not just the baseball player I am or anything else like that. So I think that's how they would describe me.
Yeah. And peeling the onion back a little bit, you've had some recognition. You've done some camps with USA Baseball. Talk about your time with USA Baseball and just kind of your dreams going forward. Obviously, we all know what those probably are, but just if you can kind of describe it brief for our listeners, what does kind of your long-term goals after college look like in baseball and sports or and beyond?
Absolutely. So I think that the time at USA obviously is one time I'll never forget. It's a once in a lifetime experience to put on the USA jersey. It was so surreal the first time that I got it, it just thinking that I was in the position that I was. And, just playing, especially on the 4th of July, playing in front of 13,000 fans in Charlotte. I think that was something I'll never be able to forget. Just that special experience. And I think, that's kind of where I am now. What was the question again? I forgot the second part of the question.
It was more just like, obviously, like, your plans kind of after Davidson, long-term plans.
Yeah. Sports. I remember the first part. I couldn't remember the second part. So the long-term plans, I think, definitely building off of that. The long-term plans are definitely, to play baseball as long as I can.
Yeah.
It's something that I can't control, whether, I'm an MLB All-Star or Hall of Fame or whatever it is. But, what I can control is getting better every day. And just trying to, play baseball as long as I can. So, and ideally that'd be, in the MLB for 10, 20 years, but, whatever it is, I'll definitely be happy with my career and I'll be satisfied. So.
Absolutely. And, as we wind down here, where can people find you on social media? Where can they follow you along this season and beyond?
Yeah, so I actually just started my Instagram not too long ago.
Very nice.
Yeah, so it's Michael Carico 5.
Michael Carico 5 on Instagram. All right, very good. And this is a couple more questions here for you. When you're not on the diamond, when you're not doing your thing on the baseball field, what do you like to do off the field? Well, what best activities would you say best describe you there?
Yeah, so with Wake Forest becoming really good at football these past few years, I've really started to enjoy watching football a little bit. Both my roommates at Davidson are also big football fans, college and professional. So I think they also helped me get into watching football. So I think that's really what I've been enjoyed doing. But really anything I can do to relax. So. We play ping pong a lot, play pool, whatever it is to just let the body relax.
Well, and you got to get into some Davidson football as well. You're there, and
that's right.
Got to go down to the field and support those other athletic programs.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, my last question for you, kind of an open-ended one. You kind of already answered this already, but. When you look back at your time at Glenn, what do you feel like, you kind of said it already, but what do you feel like you'll be remembered by from your time at Glenn? And when you come back in 20 years and 30 years, just, your time at Glenn, you said it was a special place in your heart. What do you want people to remember about you when they think of you and your time at Glenn?
Absolutely. Yeah. I think it kind of goes to what I said earlier. I think they're going to remember how I treated people, especially, the teachers and the staff and, just my teammates, the coaches, everyone at Glenn. I think that's going to be the number one thing they remember me.
Awesome. Well, Michael, this has been great. And so, as I said at the top, Michael Carico has been my guest today. He is a junior at Davidson Baseball player, alum of Glenn High School, class of 2020. And this is our next episode in this series of former Glenn High School coaches and players now at colleges or professionals or elsewhere around the globe. Michael, great to catch up with you. Great to connect. And best of luck this upcoming 2023 season. And thank you for being a guest today here on Triad All Stars.
Absolutely, Ryan. Thank you for having me.